Hello YouTubers. This is going to be our first video in the series of videos where we start developing and engineering free speech. Engineering free speech meaning that we are going out there and we're going to try to decentralize social networks, make them node-based, where communities could spin up their own social network, and then it would be their decision to connect their social network to other social networks within their region and their radius. In other words, we're trying to redesign social networks in a way that it actually reflects our day-to-day lives. If you and your family are in a house and you want to have something just specific for you and your family, great. You have family friends that you are actually really close with, and they're your neighbors and whatnot. You can connect your community to their community, and now you can see their posts, they can see your posts, and you can at any point in time control whether they get to connect with you or not as a community administrator, and so on and so forth. The point of this social network decentralization effort, which I call Taarafo, which is an Arabic word that means get to know each other, the point of it is to do three things, really three main things that are out there that are really, really important, and they are more critical today than anything else in the world. Number one, to prevent larger corporates like Google, Twitter, and Facebook, and corporates like these from taking over your life in a way by using your data, using you as a product, to feed their AI machine and then try to build a prediction model. Today, they are so good, they know more about you than you know about yourself, which is a huge problem because it's basically tackling your weaknesses. Your weaknesses to maybe fast food, maybe you have weakness to particular content on the internet. They're gonna use that against you, to get you to buy particular products and post particular content online. Needless to say, it goes up to the point where they can control the political aspirations and political directions of people. It goes to the point where they, basically their ultimate goal is to use you as a pawn, to make you do whatever they want you to do. For the reference, if you haven't watched this documentary, I really, really highly recommend a Netflix documentary called The Social Dilemma. This is a must watch. If you want to be a part of this project, you have to watch The Social Dilemma. It's really, really important for you to understand where all of this work is coming from. More importantly, the other reason is to protect free speech, so you're not a product anymore. That's number one. To de-productize humanity. De-productize humanity is number one. You are not a product. You're not being fed to an AI machine so they can consume you and your families and your little children's content on the internet and use it against you. Number two, it is to protect free speech. To protect free speech, you should be able to express yourself. You should be able to get together with your friends and actually express your opinions. This is a God-given right. This is a birthright. You should be able to express yourself. No one should be in control of whoever says what. This is a fundamental right that has to be protected. And today, because the language of this day and age that we are in is technology, then it becomes the responsibility of technologists like myself and you and everybody else that is aware of this issue to protect this human right. Protect it for yourself, for your family, and for your children, and for future generations that are going to come in, either slaves to the machine, where the machine controls their aspirations and their dreams or what they want or what they don't want, or they become a free generation that they can actually see what's out there, and the sky is the limit for their ambitions, and the sky is the limit for their infinite power of inspiration, and their infinite power of exploring the unknown and thinking about what's out there instead of letting that be in the hand of some gigantic AI powered machine. So number two is to protect free speech. Protect free speech. Number three, which is actually something really good, is to basically allow, basically decentralize the funding from marketing agencies and decentralize the funding from businesses that pay these larger social networks today to actually huge amounts of money, millions and trillions and of dollars to actually advertise a certain thing. Instead, when you break it up to a smaller communities like these, based on how large your community is, marketers and businesses will approach you, as a leader in your community, in your own little social network, and pay you money, to advertise in your social network. If you have a social network of some 2,000 people, people will definitely come in and start advertising on your social network and pay you an amount of money. So we're breaking that down. We're allowing a lot of people to create some revenue on the side. I understand today with the pandemic and with the really tough economical decisions for a lot of people. A lot of people have this power of influence, but they don't have a skill set, a specific skill set where they can add this power of influence on top of it so they can make some revenue on the side. So what if these people use their influence, to create smaller communities, actually try to spread something meaningful and valuable, and they're getting paid to actually advertise for particular content in these communities. In this case, instead of one person making $1 trillion, why don't we have a million person, each one of them making an enough amount of money every month that they can sustain themselves and reinvest into their communities and all that. So that's the point. We're trying to balance things out. We're trying to de-productize humanity. You're not a product anymore. Your privacy matters. You're not a person. You're not a product to be sold to marketing agencies and all that. And on top of all that, I want to help a bunch of engineers actually learn about, engineering and design concepts. I use this project. It's open source. It's out there in the wild. Look at the code. I will share every single blueprint, architecture, design, prototype, POC. I will share literally everything I produce in this project with you so you can learn. Even if you're not interested in the cause, if you don't care about decentralizing social networks, if you don't care about any of these things that I told you about, just hang out with me for learning experience. Learn about software development design, learn about architecture design, learn about all of these things for yourself as an engineer. My hope is that, as if the case with this channel in general, is that you get to learn a skill set that you can use and hopefully get a job somewhere and be able to provide for yourself and your family. If I can be, one of the reasons why you are able to get a job because of a skill set that you've learned from my projects or a video that you watch, then I have fulfilled my purpose, and it hopefully becomes your purpose to pass this forward, one random act of kindness at a time. Reach out to people, even if they can't help you, even if they can't pay you, even if they can't afford you. Go out there and do something for them, without even a thank you. If you do that, I promise you, you'll be rebuilding our falling apart world one piece at a time. You have to understand that there is, a lot of evil powers in the world. There's a lot of malevolence in our world. There's a lot of, evil powers that is so greedy, wants to make money despite what the cost is, and cares less about humanity and human beings. And people like you and me, technologists, people with good hearts that want to actually build something for the betterment, for the survival of our humankind and its evolution. Be the light in that darkness, with your keyboard, with your IDE, with your technology, with your education. Even if you have no education at all, I am here to educate you and give you that kind of power so you can go out there and light up the darkness. Light up the darkness and do something meaningful with the skill sets that I am teaching you. I want you to take these words very close to heart, and I want you to learn with me how to build great software. Maybe the project that I'm working on today is not very important, but if you learn a skill set, that you will eventually use maybe to build something else that changes humanity forever and helps people forever. Maybe you're gonna build something that helps people with, with permanent blindness to be able to detect the patterns in there and help them actually see, again. You're giving the gift of sight to people who have lost it. Maybe there's so many problems in our world today, and believe it or not, with all the capacity and power of computation power that we have today, we still not even close to detecting, solutions for diseases like COVID-19, for instance, which have just completely killed, millions, literally millions of people, and still continues to kill people every day. We as technologists, we take it upon ourselves and our responsibility to actually, use this knowledge and use this power to light up the darkness and build systems that can actually find, vaccinations and solutions to things like these as fast as possible. It took us about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, to find some sort of vaccination. This time is unrealistic for the 21st century. We could do better. We could do better than that. You could do better. I can do better, with the amount of technologies that we have today. Don't go out there learning technology so you can build, some e-commerce or a calculator. That's just it's if this is something that you're making money off of, that you're going to use this money to provide for your family, sure. But I want your engineering to be a lot more purposeful than this. Put some purpose, put some light and power into the knowledge that you have, and go out there and do something great for the world. Do something for your children, for your grandchildren, for the generations to come. Do something to be proud of when you take this last breath, before you meet your maker. Build something that you are proud of. And that's what I'm here to help you do. So this is a little bit of a longer introduction to Taarafo, but let's go ahead and start, looking at what the problem that we're trying to solve, a problem statement, and how we're going to tackle this. So we want to build a social network, right? We want to build a social network that respects people, humanity, de-productize humanity, and allows people to interact with their families and beloved ones without being their privacy being invaded by some guy sitting there in Silicon Valley just looking at your data without your permission. So how does that really work? How are we going to do this? Okay, our product, the product that we're building, it's not enough that it has a good purpose. It has to be beautiful. It has to be simple. Like Steve Jobs says, a grandma in Nebraska should be able to run the software. This is my motto right there. The simplest software with the simplest interface. The interface has to be simple, and it has to be intuitive. It has to be available on both web and mobile and desktop applications. So we're going to be leveraging a lot of technologies here. We're going to be using Blazor for our web application, maybe use Xamarin or use Blazor for mobile in our mobile applications, and maybe even, I know that you can also use Blazor for your desktop application, so maybe probably Blazor overall, with some powerful technology on the back end, and then overall administration dashboard that allows community leaders, to, either, allow advertisements. How is that going to look like? Protecting your data, protecting your security. It's going to be open source and simple because I want people to be able to go spin up their own instances. But because it's open source, it doesn't mean that people off the bat are just going to know how to provision an app service in Azure and actually kind of put it out there, or AWS or whatever cloud service provider is. We're going to have to provide a simple interface that a non-tech savvy, like I said, a grandma in Nebraska has to go and actually click a button and spin up her own community. And she's now in control of who's into this community, who's out of that community. She can receive requests to enter the community, and we're going to have to work really, really hard with, engineers from everywhere to basically beef up our security and make sure that people's information are not breachable, This decentralization is very important. Now, when it comes to architecture and design, there's a couple of important things that I want to talk to you about. I've seen a lot of people start from the technology and work their way up to the client. And that's kind of a big mistake, because you need to actually work with the purpose, with the client first, and then figure out the technology that makes this a reality. I always tell people this: don't let technology bend your will. Don't bend your will because of technology limitation. Break technology in half and mold it to fit your purpose. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. I can't think of anything that requires a enormously, hacky solution to actually do something that's not out there. But let's go ahead and visualize. What would a person that is using a social network today would need. Let's go into the Blackboard in here. I love to use this app called Draw.io, and I'm going to upload the content in there. So if you're, let me start a new solution here first. Let me go ahead in here and start Draw.io. Here we go. Draw.io. So let's go ahead in here. And let's go ahead and create Taarafo design. So this is going to be our Blackboard. And this board is how we're going to start imagining our solution, a decentralized social network. What do we need to have? And this is the prioritization point of view when you're thinking about features to build a system. You know, what is the thing that people use the most when they are looking at a Twitter or a Facebook or whatever the case may be? I know for starters that people care more about the timeline. So a little timeline here in the middle, a little timeline here in the middle that basically allows people to see posts. So I want a timeline that allows people to be able to see posts. Great. So I'm going to go ahead in here and create a timeline. And this timeline will basically have a bunch of posts in it. So I have a post 1, post 2, post 3. So timeline is what really people care about. All right, we have a timeline in here. Great. So here's my timeline. In addition to the timeline, in order for the timeline to happen, I just want you to see my train of thought here. In order for a timeline to happen, we want to allow people to be able to post to that timeline. So the timeline is nothing but a selection of posts that display on this timeline. Well, okay, then I have a post. So what is that post supposed to look like? Here's a post, maybe a pop-up like this. Let me minimize my design view here. Like this. All right. This is a post, and this post basically has a little bit of design in and of itself to allow people to post a content on the timeline. Now, people that, you know, are friends with you and people who have access, you know, should be able to do this. So what a post looks like really, a post must be something that you can pass text in, some sort of text. And while you have that text, you want to be able to send the post. So you want to be able to say post like this. And maybe you should be able to also attach some images in your post. So this is a post, but I also want to have an attachment. So I'm going to add another button down here, and I'm going to call it attach or attachment. So I'm typing some content and I'm clicking post, and the post will go and display on the timeline. I want to put an image in there. I want to put, you know, whatever I want in there. Sure, that should just work like a charm, right? Attachment, we should probably support drag and drop, but let's start really simple. Actually, for an MVP, let's even take the attachment. Let's just start with this, a simple post that will take in and let's probably put yeah, there you go. So something like this, and I probably need, I don't know, maybe an X button in here, a little X in here that basically tells me that, you know, I'd cancel this post. I don't want to do anything with it. Here's an X like this. Here you go. And this is pretty much how, you know, I normally work with a lot of engineers on daily basis, inside and outside my workplace. You know, this is literally what I do on daily basis. I mainly try to visualize the solution and then write code to drive that solution to where it needs to be. So this is my post here, and okay, fine. Let's do it this way. Here's an X. this. There you go. So I need a way where I can shut down the form itself, and I need a way to say maybe a new post in here. New post like this. So this is me trying to, so you think of it, it's basically CRUD operations. You're basically going out there and you're saying, I want to be able to delete a post, modify a post, and when people delete their post, it actually gets deleted, not soft deleted, and their data stays there so people can sneak on them and use it. We don't want to do none of that. We just actually want to allow people to go out there and say, I have a new post and I want to post this content over there in my site, in my timeline, and then my friends and family and the community that I'm a part of will be able to use it. We'll talk about post visibility and all that kind of stuff later. But for the time being, this is basically what I want. I want to be able to send a post down there and allow people to actually see my post. Well, in order for you to actually send a post, you need to identify yourself. You need to say, I am registered on this website, and therefore I have the ability and capability to actually send a post downstream. Then you can see maybe a registration and a login form down the stream. Usually the traditional way a lot of software happens is that people start with the registration and log in, and then they start building the system. I'm going to flip the pyramid here a little bit. I'm going to start because we can. Why not? Of course we can. We could start with a post and then attach the created by, updated by on it. As long as we're having the fields that actually support that, then it shouldn't be a problem at all. Okay, so a little post and the post shows up on a timeline. So there's a timeline entity, some aspect of a timeline that actually allows you to put posts in here. And this timeline, which is the guy that runs in the background in here, is what you see in your system and what allows you to actually see your social media posts. Well, that's fantastic then. So what is this new post is supposed to look like, right? What's in a post that we really care about? Well, let's go and pick up an entity model. See how I'm starting from the experience and then working all the way back to the API, all the way back to the entity, right? This is your UI, and UI is showing this particular piece, and then we're going to work our way back all the way to the database. So what is a new post is supposed to look like? So here comes the fun stuff, right? Here comes the part where we go and say, well, I want to be able, for instance, to support multiple aspects of my post. So this is post entity, and every post entity should have an ID of some sort. I'm going to make it a GUID. And then maybe the post has content, which is the text content of it. So this is content, and that's a string. We might need to talk about limitation later, because when you say string and in the database it translates, like if the entity framework translates it into a max varchar max, that basically means you can actually store in there as much as 2 gigs, give or take, into the system. You don't want people to post 2 gigs worth of data in there. That's kind of excessive, but you also don't want to limit people ability to be able to put all what they want in there. So there is a good middle ground there that we need to think about. Some people went to the extremes and said, no, on Twitter you only have this amount of characters to post. And I don't know if that was an optimization decision or just a way to, reflect the idea of a tweet. But then Facebook also allows you to post as much stuff as you want. You can go for days with your Facebook post, and I've seen people post like a lot of content in there, like in just one post. I don't know who's reading it, but it's there. So I have a content, and then I have some values in here, right? So I have what I call audit fields. Audit fields basically tells you, see, I'm not putting a status in there because if a post is deleted, it's deleted, it's gone. So I'm gonna go here and say posted date. Let's call it created date. And that's going to be a date time offset to honor, the date time based on where the post is coming from. There's updated date, date time offset. And then there is no created by and updated by. There's just only created by or updated by, because I don't see yet a possibility where someone can change someone else's post. That's kind of weird. Maybe an administrator. I don't think this should happen. I think people should, if you are posting something, you are the only person responsible for it. So I'm just gonna go ahead in here and say posted by or created by. And that's going to be a GUID with a reference to what we call a profile, but we'll talk about that later. So I have ID, I have content. Do I have anything else in there? I don't think so. I think that's all I have. I have the dates, I have the person who posted it, I have the text that's in there, and I have the ID. That's it. That's all that there is. Maybe at some point in time we will need to control visibility, we will need to control attachment, but all of these are going to be relational entities that come out of that. But remember, in order for you to actually get something out the door, you have to stay focused and you have to stay at a minimum level to get something running before you start experimenting with one feature or another. All right. And because you are competing with a large platform, that has been out there for almost 2 decades now, or give or take, you're going to have to make it do something that is more than just privacy, because a lot of people are not yet fully aware of how important their privacy is, are not yet fully aware, of their rights, and they don't mind being a product to social media. So these folks have to have something also outside of that, because just because they are not aware or don't appreciate their freedoms and their privacy, it doesn't mean that these folks don't want to use a better experience. So it's gonna have to do something a little bit more than just the ideals and the concepts that we're actually driving the software based on. So let me take the video here out so you can actually see the model. So this is my model here. This is a post. And this is a new post, and this new post will go right into the timeline of the community that you are in. All right, great. What's it gonna take to implement something where people can pop up a dialog and actually go and implement this dialog? What's it gonna take from a user interface standpoint to actually pull, a bunch of timeline posts? Let's just start simple. Let's start with our foundation services. So how do I design this from an API standpoint? Okay, so this is my data type right here, and this is my post right here. So let me pull my post right here. So this is my post, and this is the data type of my post. Now let's talk about the architecture and design. The folks that have been with me through the following up with me through OSSS, and the folks that watched my YouTube series about Blazor, which is continuing. I don't want you to see these videos and think, oh, the Blazor series is done. No, not really. I think Blazor will continue to go on for a very long time, especially the way how it's evolving right now. It's definitely something that is going to go on for a very long time. But for the folks that are not familiar with this, here's how we're going to build this. So Taarafo is going to be a two-piece of infrastructure. There's going to be a piece in here that is a user interface. So this is what I'm going to call portal. So that's your portal. That's your web page where you're actually doing the posting and interacting with the system. And then behind the scenes in here, they're going to be the service. So this is what I call API. So this is a portal. This is an API. And there's API communications going on there, and maybe there's a database that's living down here to actually store your information. Very straightforward. There is no magic going on there. You have a post, you're a user, you're logged in into the internet, you're logged into your account, you're making a post to an API, and then your API is saving the data, and then later on retrieving that data to show the timeline and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So this is my portal, API, and the database. What's that going to look like underneath in here? Let's zoom in a little bit. So my API is going to be really straightforward. I need a broker, and I need a service, is going to be what I call post service. And I need a post controller, API controller, post controller. And this is post storage broker. And what's going to happen, this is your API this is your API side. Your API side is going to have this piece in here. Let me move this up front. Move to front like this. So this is your API. Your API is going to be communicating with a database through a storage broker, and the storage broker's main responsibility, is to abstract away your communication with whatever storage type you want to work with. For the time being, we will build it as a relational model, but as we grow, we might actually switch over to a Cosmos or something huge of that kind. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is my database. So this is our external. And then on the other side here is your portal. So your portal is sending the API call into your controller. And your controller is handling it by basically going and saying, this is my post, this is my controller. All these pieces internally are the pieces we care about, so I'm going to light them up a little bit. And I need full CRUD operations on this side. That's the part of just posting a timeline post, right? Just this piece. The piece on the portal side, though, is going to be a little bit different. So on the portal side, we're going to have something a little bit similar to that. Not super different, but a little bit similar to that. We don't really have a consumer behind this point, but we do have an API that we need to call. So whatever we call portal in here is what we're going to call an API on this realm. So that's my API. And your API is basically going to go and say, I have a post API broker. So see, there's a storage broker that's talking to this guy. But on this realm here, it's actually the API. So this is API broker. And then you have post service, which is a foundation service. And then we have a post view service, which is something that is like a view model kind of thing, model view model. And then beyond that point, which is a little bit larger here, we're going to have the component. And this component is going to be this little dialog that pops up. So this is here, post component. See what's happening here? So this post component basically is that little dialog. Let's go back to our architecture here. That little dialog that pops up, you pop up that dialog, boom, it hits the post service, and it goes out there and creates a post for you. It's just as simple as that, right? So I have a post entity, and this entity will be passed around. The post view entity is going to be a bit simpler than this. Let's talk about that for a little bit. So this is the native foundation. There's a post entity and there is view model, which is really a lot simpler than that. For that view model, it's going to be, created date, update date stay the same. Created by, we don't even display that, so we don't really care. So I'm going to take that out. Actually, we do. We want to display the person. So, okay, created by is going to be a string in this case because we care about the name. You can't put a GUID in there. You can't really put a GUID in there because it doesn't mean anything. So this is post view model. And the content string, created date, updated date, we have the GUID. That's it. That's the only difference. There, you have a guy here that's a GUID versus a guy here that's a string. It's just displaying the name and that's all. There's no magic going on there. All right. So we displayed that, and normally because the person who's posting is the person updating, so we are, we are fine. In fact, actually, I don't like created by. Let's call it author. Author ID, and that will be a GUID, and this guy is going to be author, which is just a string. It's the name. So this guy will have a reference later to some author or some user ID or something to that effect, right? So that's our architecture right here. Very straightforward. Once that piece is done, this is what we're going to be working on. Once that piece here is done, then we should be clear to go with creating the actual timeline, because you're going to have a bunch of posts. Now you want to control the rules of displaying these posts. And in a lot of the social media platforms that we have today, this timeline is the most dangerous thing, because the pipeline is how they keep your eyes glued to the system, which basically causes a lot of people depression, because you'll see a lot of people on social networks that they are seemingly happy, but they're not really that happy. And why is that? Because they want this adulation and admiration of people, which is another topic that we're going to talk about. How do you want to engineer, whether people like something or dislike something? Do you want to get that recognition? How do we not make that recognition toxic? Right? Instagram tried to do something smart with it, and they said, I'm going to hide the number of likes and dislikes. But then again, they went back and they said, well, maybe we're gonna say, this has been liked by this person and thousands of others or millions of others, and others, so it's still putting there a badge, so it's all really marketing strategies. When they say, oh, we're gonna take away the number of likes so people don't get obsessed with that, they're just trying to keep their user base and trying to convince their user base that, we are looking after you. We're trying to, and maybe they do, I don't know that, but the fact that you're taking the number and then later on you're saying millions and thousands of others, kind of anti-pattern there. You basically took away something and put something else. You took away the numbers and gave people badges, so it's not really helping out. But how are we going to tackle that? I don't know yet. This is my attempt of building a social media platform. So with that, now that we have a mission statement, we have a design, we have a back-end design, we have a front-end design, and we have a simple architecture, and we have what we want to render in here, and we're mainly focused on this post. All what we're going to have to do in the upcoming videos in this series, one of the many series I'm running, all what we're going to have to do moving forward from there is to start building that foundation pipeline. Feel free to join me and send me a comment in the comment section if you want to be a part of this project. I have a lot of people that are working on OSSS, which is an amazing open source schooling system built for the financially disadvantaged students around the world. I couldn't be more grateful for the amount of contributions that people have, and now I'm starting this new project. So if you go to GitHub and look at OSSS, I can't believe, like, when I first started this project, we have over 3,308 commits and, countless numbers of contributions, 36 branches, 85 stars, and 23 people watching, and 35 forks. Contributors from all over the world, literally come from every different aspect in the world. And today I'm going to start adding in an official repo for Taarafo. So I had a little repo in there, but I really didn't like that, the letters are lowercase and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna fix that a little bit, and then you guys feel free to join me in, and you're gonna get to learn about a new technology. You're gonna get to learn mobile, web, and desktop applications and APIs. But more importantly, you're gonna be building something that you're not very likely to run into that often when you are developing. The thing I love about open source is that the stuff that you put there lives there forever. At some point in time, someone is going to benefit from it. Even if it doesn't take off, even if it doesn't succeed, enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. This is what I always tell the engineers that I work with, any teams that I lead or I work with, any people that I work with, I say enjoy the actual development process. And if you'll see in the way we're developing the software is that it's actually more focused on the engineer than anything else in the world. Like it really cares about your experience, because the real win in here is going to be the part that you are actually developing the software, how you're developing the software, more than the software itself. But then once the software is delivered and people are starting to use it, you're going to get that benefit of, oh, I did something really great for humanity. I actually helped people. I actually did something that is useful for humanity. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in another session. Let me know if you want to be a contributor. I'll create a Microsoft Teams channel, so people can join in and start communicating with each other and actually talk about the PRs and the design and all that kind of stuff. I will also upload this into the new repo that I'm going to create for Taarafo. So they're going to be Taarafo Core, which is basically the API side, and then they're going to be Taarafo Portal, which is basically the UI part of it, at least the web UI. So it's going to be taarafo.portal.web, and then there will be taarafo.portal.mobile, and then taarafo.portal portal.desktop or something like that. And maybe we'll do it even in VR or on your watches and stuff. We're going to do everything we want because it's open source and the technology is ours. The world is yours as an engineer. Go out there and learn and build something great and have some purpose behind what you do. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was, inspiring to you, useful to you, something that makes you look forward to building software with me. And, if you don't want to contribute at all and just sit there and watch and see how things are being built, absolutely, why not? Let's go there and let's see, how I would build my software. How would I tackle the problem of social media? Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.